What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Weekly. I'm your host, Pee Wee the Plug, 1/4 through the wire, number one Knicks fan in the world, aka Mr. Know-It-All. And Drake has a line, right? In the song 4 p.m. in Calabasas. All of my Drake fans, my rap heads, y'all know when Drake gives you a time and location, he's gonna spaz. But in this particular song, from a few years ago, he has a line that says, "It's too late for sorry," right? And the reason I'm bringing up that line is because it's going to be prominent in what we talk about and discuss today. It really hit me with that line, "It's too late for sorry." I really thought about it this morning when I woke up and saw that Doc Rivers was going on a media tour, a little media, just nothing crazy. And I think it's no coincidence that it's after what came out yesterday. And what came out yesterday was Ben Simmons not reporting to training camp, and that he has a desire to never put on, he has no desire to ever put on a Philadelphia 76er uniform again. Him and his team confirmed that they're going to be willing to sit out, take suspensions, take fines, and all of that. So those were speculations and rumors that we had already been hearing through the grapevine in previous weeks, but that just confirmed it, that it was 100% real, that it was true, and that that's going to be the situation going into the year for Philly if they don't take the little bit of time they have now before the season to find a trade. So now I wake up and I see Doc Rivers is talking to Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman. I decided to go to YouTube to check that out. Then after, I see that he's going to First Take, and I'm like, oh, he's going on a media run. They're disguising it as if it's about his podcast. But then when you listen to the interviews, they're going to ask him about the podcast, the first question. That's going to take a minute. And then the 99.9% of the other part of the interview is going to be solely about Ben Simmons. And I watched the Max Kellerman, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jay Williams interview. I liked it. I think they asked the questions that wanted to be asked. If I was there, I would have asked those same questions. But it was a lot to take away. So again, that made me think of, it's too late for sorry. Because it reminded me of a couple weeks ago with Joel Embiid and his tweets. And I had the same feeling of like, I like it, but it's a little too late for that. It's too late for sorry. You know what I mean? We had a whole off season. They didn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They had an earlier off season, if we're being quite frank. Another song that pops up in my mind about a situation similar is the Timberland and One Republic song. It's too late to apologize. If y'all from my era, you remember that. Guys that are younger, 2000 babies, you probably don't know. But again, it's too late to apologize. And the reason I'm saying that, again, it's going to be a theme throughout this video. We'll talk about it. Is because Doc Rivers did a hell of a job today, this morning. Did a hell of a job. They asked him, Doc, they were saying that you said he's not a championship point guard, or you didn't know, or and Doc Rivers cleared it up. Hey, they asked me that, and I told them, I didn't want to answer those type of questions right now. That was not what I meant, and different things, backtracking his statements. And he said, if you go and you really listen, that's not even what I said. Me being the guy that I am, I did go back and listen. And it is what Doc said. Doc, I don't know why you're trying to say it's not what you said, because there's video footage of that. And I'm not saying Doc is a liar or anything, because he did say that it's not what he meant. And his daughter called him like, Dad, you should clear that up. And he said that he did. And then the following day when they had like a post thing interview or whatever. But in that video, he did say, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. When they asked him, can Ben Simmons be a point guard for a championship team? And I'm also going to say this. I am a Ben Simmons guy. I like Ben Simmons. But I don't think that was a wrong answer for Doc. He didn't know. We all don't know. But in sports, when it comes to support from your coach, support from your teammates, support from the organization, we all know Doc Rivers should have at least lied. Even if that's not how you feel, based on the situation, Doc is a former player. You know what I mean? Former point guard at that. He's a coach, champion. Over years, he's seasoned. He knows the game. And I felt like he could have at least lied. And I think even Ben and them is just like, damn, you couldn't fake it. Like, you know what I mean? Some type of moral support, some type of fucking, yeah, Ben Simmons is the point. Or if you don't know, you say about everybody, right? Hell, I don't know if Joel Embiid is a championship center. I don't know if our role players are championship role players. I don't know if we're a championship team. We have work to do. But when you make it singular, a guy feels like he's thrown under the bus, even if it's rightfully so, because Ben Simmons did play poorly. It's the worst basketball I've seen Ben Simmons play. No argument for me here. I never like a player enough to not keep it real. That was the worst basketball I've ever seen Ben Simmons play. But even with that being said, the narrative that was pushed all offseason that nobody cared enough to try to fix up, clear up, until now, where their back is against the wall, is that it was all about Ben Simmons' poor play is why they lost. When in reality, that's not the case. They lost as a whole. But the thing about the media is that you have narratives and you have optics and you have headlines that are easier to push and to translate to casual people across the world. ESPN would much rather push something simple versus something complex, because the casual fan is not going to be able to keep up with a complex situation because they don't know the game like you and I. So optic-wise, visual-wise, you see a viral play of Ben Simmons having a play where he can dunk on a small Trae Young, and he passes it up to Matisse Thybulle, who gets fouled and goes 1 or 2 from the line. That's easier to push. It's visual. It's optics. You can see that and tie that up to his statistical performances as the series edged out. He had some high moments, but we know he had games where he took 3 shots, 4 shots, 8 points here, 10 missed free throws there. That one play is easier to tie to the other moments. You break down that series, game 1 is Doc's L. No reason or no way in hell Trae Young isn't being hounded by Ben Simmons from the start of the jump ball. As soon as the jump ball goes off, the first possession the Hawks have, Ben Simmons should be hawking Trae Young down, no pun intended, or pun intended. This is the guy who was second in Defensive Player of the Year candidacy behind the guy who historically was great. Rudy Gobert historically did great shit on the defensive side of the ball, and there's still people saying that Ben Simmons should have won that award. That's how good Ben Simmons is defensively. 6'10", more versatile, guards perimeter, can switch on bit 1 through 5, legit defender. And he can hound guards. So from game 1, first possession for the Hawks, Ben Simmons not doing that and being that great defender is an L on Doc Rivers. Which is cool. The Sixers didn't play bad. Nobody had a shitter or anything. They just casually came to play. I think that they thought they were easily better than the Hawks and that they were just going to wipe the floor with their ass. They beat the Knicks. What did he fucking do? We way better. They're not going to be able to fuck with us. So, yeah, Danny Green guarding Trae Young a little bit. Ben Simmons guarding what he could. It wasn't nothing real focused. And they got slapped in the face. The Hawks came to play and they surprised them. And that was fine. But that's Doc's L in game 1. That's Doc's L. He has to take responsibility for not making the adjustments or for even coming through the gate like that, right? It's just super relaxed, which is something that's known for this Philly team. They've been super casual at times during the playoffs where they just think that they're just going to show up and win. It's just what it is. It's not a Ben Simmons thing. They're going to make it a big Ben Simmons thing, but that's what their teams have been known to do and be for as long as I've watched the Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid era. They're casual as hell at times. Ben Simmons is a part of it. This is not me defending or making Ben Simmons exempt. He's a part of it. My whole perspective and point of view that I try to get out isn't to defend Ben. It's just to make it whole and say, hey, it's not a singular thing. It's not a Ben Simmons problem that Philadelphia is having. It's a Philadelphia problem. It ain't because of Ben Simmons that they lost the series. It's because of Philadelphia. Hell, even if we just talk about Ben Simmons, some of Ben Simmons' deficiencies and flaws have to do with Philadelphia. It's no way in hell a guy can play for me for this many years and does not shoot the ball. In his second, third year, there should have been consequences of him not shooting at all. Ben, you have to take that shot. If you have a shot that is that wide open and they're sagging off and you don't shoot it, you got to come out the game. Certain consequences would have stopped this behavior. But they didn't do that. They kind of tried to hide it for so long, baby him, and now he's at a point where you handicapped him. And he's majority held responsibility for his own game. That's an 80-20 thing. For sure. But the Philadelphia 76ers didn't help it anyway by allowing him to be that way. Just a side note, just so people can know, I'm not here to defend anybody from anything that they're not just for. Ben Simmons deserves criticism, but it ain't singularly about Ben Simmons. Cool. Game 1 is on Doc. Game 2 and Game 3, they bounce back. Game 2, Ben Simmons only shoots 3 shots. He's just locked in on Trae Young. They slow down Trae. Trae doesn't have a good game. Game 2, they win easily. Game 3, kind of the same thing. Ben Simmons is more aggressive, has a better scoring game, a lot better scoring game. I think he had around 17, 18 points. Trae Young played better, but the Philadelphia 76ers put a halt to the others. There was no others. Trae played good. That was it. They still won. Cool. We're rolling. It's now 2-1. We're in Atlanta where we just won. We win this. We go up 3-1. We go back home. Right? This is Game 4. Game 4 is Joel Embiid's L because he shows up and he has a shitter. He goes 4 of 20 from the field, 20% from the field. If we're talking percentages, no points in the second half. No field goals, excuse me. He had 4 points. I think they were all free throws. 4-4 from the free throw line in the second half. No field goals. God awful. Ben ain't played super great either. Flirted with a little triple-double. Nothing crazy, though. Tobias played well. Give you an efficient dub. Seth played well. I think he shot like 50% from 3. Nothing crazy, though. But Joel Embiid, that was his shitter. Game 4 is his L. Game 5, Joel Embiid bounces back and says, hey, it's unacceptable for me. He gives them 35, 36. They even get a 35-point, 36-game point from Seth Curry. He plays crazy. Tobias Harris, it's his L. He shows up and goes 2 of 11. As bad as Ben Simmons played this series, right? This is a game where Ben Simmons outscored Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris had 4 points in Game 5. It's not all about Tobias Harris, though. Ben Simmons is a part of the problem. Ben Simmons had 8 points. He went like 2 of 4 from the field. That's 4 points. The other 4 points came from the free throw line. He went 4 of 14. They lose by 3. That's the same amount they lost by in the previous game with Joel Embiid shitter. So if Joel Embiid plays this much better or makes this amount more shots, they win Game 4. If he shoots 30% instead of 20, they win Game 4. Same thing with Game 5. If Ben Simmons misses 6 free throws instead of 10, they win Game 5. If Tobias Harris, instead of giving you 4 points, gives you 8 because he makes 4 free throws, you win. Tobias Harris had 0 free throw attempts. 2 of 11, 4 points, that's it. No free throw attempts, anything. So you lose Game 4, 2-2. You lose Game 5, 3-2. You win Game 6. You play better. Ben still was lack of aggressive, but you played all right better. You win, and now you have Game 7. And now Ben Simmons does the pass thing. He's not aggressive. Trae Young and the Hawks just come betterly prepared to win, and they beat you. And I just took you through the series that gave you a lot more than what's been expressed. It's been the Ben Simmons, but I gave you plenty of examples where collectively It was Philadelphia who shitted the bed as a team. And that's why it's too late for sorry. Because that should have been what was said all offseason by anybody who represented Philadelphia. Not now. Joel Embiid, 2 weeks ago is when you say you clear up things with Ben. You had all offseason. Now, where it looks like there's going to be no trade to do for Ben Simmons, at least not anything Philadelphia will want. Now you put that out there. That's insulting to Ben Simmons and Rich Paul's intelligence. They know what the fuck that is. Doc Rivers, you wait till they go public and they confirm that they're not going to clear things up. Why didn't you do this 3 months ago? It's too late for sorry. And I'm not mad at Ben. I'm not mad at Ben at all. Especially with the fans of Philadelphia. The fans confuse me. The fans are the ones who took the narrative, who helped the media push this narrative. Because all you'll see from Philadelphia fans is how bad Ben is and he's the reason and blah, 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 blah. Now he gives you what you want because you don't want him on the team. And now that makes you even more angry. I thought you didn't want him on a team. So he's in a lose-lose. You don't want him on the team. He says, okay, I'm not going to play for you. I'm going to sit until I get traded. And now you hate him for that when you don't want. It don't make any sense. Make it make sense. That's my whole thing, man. It's too late for sorry. And I honestly think that it could be a way that this has nothing to do with that. It also could be a situation where Ben Simmons just wants a clean start. That could be another thing I think we have to also include, But I do think that it's poor on Philadelphia part to do all of these things. Like I said, a couple weeks ago, Joel Embiid with the tweets, even that he didn't do right. He talked about, man, I just worked on my game. That's what other people should do. Kind of indirectly throwing jabs at Ben Simmons. I don't know if he was doing it on purpose or not, but that. Then you got Doc Rivers, who waited all these months to now clear up things and say, hey, I didn't really say that or whatever. Now you say it, and I like the approach from Ben and his team because they were professional with the James Harden thing. It's cool. I was in the trade conversations. I still played through. Didn't care. I'm here. Whatever. Let's win. But now it's in a point where they're giving it back to Philly. They're giving it back to Philly. Because Philadelphia doesn't want him either. Let's not pretend. Philadelphia would love to trade Ben Simmons. It's just that the package that they want isn't available. But Ben Simmons and Rich Paul are saying, no, 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 no. Trade me. Keep the same energy. You can't have me a part of the family because timing. Because Damian Lillard ain't available now. But then once Damian Lillard becomes available, you just gonna dust me away? No, that's not my problem. That he didn't want to request a trade request now, and you want to. No, let's get it done. And now Philadelphia is caught up in a situation where they're kind of fucked, and they're not going to be better without him, unless they were going to get a Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal. Hopefully they can get at least C.J. McCollum. I'm hoping Philadelphia can get that for him. Because at this point, teams are going to try to lowball the shit out of Philly. Philly had a lot of opportunities all offseason. They wanted James Harden-esque trade packages. I don't think you were ever going to get that. And now he's demanding it. He's sitting out. He is furious. He never wants to put the uniform on again. When those type of things come out, come on, man. What type of team is going to overpay you for a trade now? Because at some point, you got to trade him. You got to trade him. There's no way you bring that back into a locker room. There's no way. It's no way. So the pressure is on. And at the end of the day, Philadelphia 76ers will be the biggest loser because it's too late for sorry. They're going to lose this situation. Man, now again, things could be handled differently for sure. I don't agree with every way that Ben and Rich Paul is taking. I don't agree with everything. But I will say I understand it and I get it to a certain point and degree. Have that same energy and don't try to play me as a fool. And so I have no problem with it. I like player empowerment because The organization can do whatever the fuck they want to do to players on whatever they want to do, whenever, however they want to do it, and there's no backlash. But a player plays the same game or does it the way that they want to do it or does it back, and now everybody pretends that the player is wrong. Nah, man, y'all want to trade me. It's just that what y'all want ain't available right now. And now y'all can come back and pretend, oh, man, we love Ben. No, Ben is great. Ben is this. Ben is that. Older folks are going to say it's soft, man. Get some, it's business. I'll say the same thing. It's business. Philly, 76ers, don't take it personal. It's business. Because that's the same thing that they tell the players. When the organizations do this shit, you're supposed to be okay with it because it's just business. But then when a player flips the script and you give them the same rebuttal, it's just business, they make it different. It's not the answer that they want to hear. And that's my take on it, man. Moral of the story for me is that it's too late for sorry. Keep the same energy. Trade me the way you wanted to trade me, because if Damian Lillard requested a trade today, y'all would trade me for him. It ain't my problem that he's not available now. I don't want to go back. Fans, you didn't want me there. I'm giving you what you want. You still upset about that. I can't win for losing. I'm in a lose-lose situation. I need a fresh start. I want a fresh start. Get me up out of here. Ben, I see your perspective. I see your point. Does Ben Simmons have to improve? Yes. And that's why I like it even more as a Ben Simmons, because now he has to hoop. There's no excuse. The pressure's on Ben when he does get traded to come with it. This is NBA Weekly. I'm your host, Pee Wee the Plug. If you're new, subscribe. Always leave a like in the comments. I want to hear dialogue, what you agree with, what you disagree with, and what teams realistically, now that we're getting closer, can you see Ben Simmons go to? And do you feel that any different? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think this was just Ben Simmons? Do you think Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid was right with their approach? Let me know. As always, appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.